And welcome back to the David67 Celtic News YouTube channel. Today's video going to be a preview of tomorrow's game against Dundee United in the Scottish Premiership. Kickoff is at 12 noon. Game's going to be played at Tannadice in Dundee, and the game will be live on Sky Sports. And is a chance for Celtic to increase their lead again at the top of the Scottish Premiership. Rangers and Aberdeen are both playing as we speak, and so a nice comfortable away win at Dundee United is going to keep us at least 9 points ahead of Aberdeen and 11 points ahead of Rangers, and potentially more depending on what their results are over the course of the rest of this afternoon. Today's video going to include a wee bit of stats of Celtic and Dundee United's recent form, prediction regarding the lineup for Celtic, plus one or two wee thoughts regarding changes in tactics and so on that Brendan Rodgers may put in place tomorrow and over the next couple of games in lead up to the next game against Rangers, which will be away from home on the 2nd of January. Before we do crack on with the actual video itself, there's a wee suggestion, encouragement. If you are new to the channel, not yet subscribed, please do keep those subscriber numbers going up little by little. Every new subscriber is a wonderful early Christmas present for me. It makes me so happy. So do click that subscribe button if you're not yet subscribed. If you do like the video, please do like that video, clicking the wee like button, and do feel free to pop your own thoughts in regarding the predicted lineup, the predicted score, and any other thoughts regarding Celtic or the Dundee United match at the moment. Celtic have a very good record against Dundee United. This will actually be the first time Brendan Rodgers has ever managed Celtic against Dundee United, and the first time he's ever been to Tannadice in a competitive match. Celtic haven't lost at Tannadice against Dundee United for almost exactly 10 years. It was December the 21st, 2014 that Celtic lost 2-1 to Dundee United, both goals being scored by future Celtic players that day. And since that time, we have 11 games unbeaten against Dundee United, with 8 wins and 3 draws away from home at Dundee United, and 19 in a row unbeaten against Dundee United, home and away, over that period, with 15 wins for Celtic and 4 draws for Celtic over those 19 games. So clearly a team against which Celtic have an excellent record, and home and away. And one of the last times we were ever at Tannadice, we of course beat them 9-0 in what was quite a remarkable match, in which Kyogo scored a hat-trick for Celtic. Just looking at Celtic's form in general, we are on a 15 matches unbeaten run. Last time we were beaten was against Borussia Dortmund early in the Champions League cycle. We haven't lost a domestic match in league or either of the cups since March 2024. So that's now 31 games of draws or wins in Scottish football, combination of league games, the end of the Scottish Cup of last season, and the League Cup campaign that so happily ended with a win against Rangers last weekend. We have 10 away wins in a row in the Scottish Premiership, and this is our best ever start to a season, 14 wins and 1 draw, and that equals a record over several different seasons in the past, and so we're very close to breaking the all-time record for the start of a season for Celtic, with us having games against Motherwell on Boxing Day and then St Johnstone prior to the game on the 2nd of January against Rangers away from home. I think Brendan Rodgers in these 4 games will do a wee bit of resting and rotating of players. I think he'll want to protect players such as um, Carter Vickers and Alistair Johnston in particular. And so I can certainly see players like Ralston and Scales getting a few games over these next three, in between one Rangers game and the next on the 2nd of January. My predicted lineup for tomorrow, 12 noon against Dundee United, is going to be Kasper Schmeichel in goals, Anthony Ralston at right back, centre back pairing of Liam Scales and Austin Trusty, left back Alex Valley. I think he'll want to give Carter Vickers a wee bit of a rest. I think he'll do similarly for Alistair Johnston, probably playing both of those two in the game on Boxing Day, then giving them a game against St Johnstone off, then bringing them back for the Rangers game. I think Alex Valley will get at least a couple of games in a row at left back to establish himself as the first choice, as I think Greg Taylor's recent form has gone down and down. He's a bit of a defensive liability, and his passing, especially against Rangers at the weekend, was atrocious. And it would have been a complete disaster was it not for his deflected shot that gave us the first goal. Although, to be fair, that shot wasn't going to be threatening Jack Butland or the Rangers' goal in any way. But luckily, nice deflection took it the opposite way and into the net. In the midfield, Cal McGregor is going to be the linchpin at number 6. Either side would be Luke McCowan and Arnie Engels. I think it's important for Engels again to get a couple of games leading into the Rangers match, restore his confidence. I think Luke McCowan probably deserves a start in place of Hatate and Bernardo, simply in the manner of resting and rotating. Hatate's had rather a lot of games recently. Paulo Bernardo's form's dipped a wee bit just recently. Didn't have a particularly good game against Rangers last weekend. Out wide on the right, Nicholas Kuhn. On the left, Dyson Maida. And I think Kyogo will get the starting berth in the middle instead of Adam Ida, simply because Kyogo has a great record against Dundee United over the years. Did score that lovely hat-trick in the 9-0 win, and has been a big game player for Celtic so often and scored plenty of goals over his career against Dundee United as well. In terms of score, I'm going to go for a 3-0 win for Celtic. And I think it will be quite a difficult game. I think Dundee United will be a difficult team to break down. They do play quite good, cohesive, joined up play. I think they're well managed by Jim Goodwin. And they've maintained quite a lot of their team that brought them up from the Scottish Championship last season and added in a few good quality players on transfer and loan. And so I do think Dundee United, who have been the surprise packet of this season and have a good record so far this season, I think they will give Celtic a challenging match tomorrow, but I fully expect Celtic to come out victorious 3-0. Few wee transfer stories bubbling under. Yet again, speculation that Kieran Tierney's going to be coming to Celtic one way or another in the near future. Arsenal have decided not to extend his contract, and so Kieran Tierney will be a free agent in the summer of 2025. There are some stories that Celtic are looking at some form of loan deal to bring him to Celtic Park from January to May, and then signing him as a free agent on a 4-year, 5-year contract starting in the summer of 2025. There are some stories that Celtic simply will look to try and sign Kieran Tierney as a free agent at the start of 2025 and then leave Tierney playing down south for Arsenal. And there are other stories saying that Celtic won't be getting Kieran Tierney at all. Many stories are suggesting that Kieran Tierney is quite happy to take a major wage cut from his £120,000 a week at Arsenal to bring him down into the region of £40,000 per week, which would take him alongside people such as Cal McGregor and just a wee bit ahead of Kyogo, Carter Vickers, Maeda and Hatate, etc. No real moves on any other players coming into the club. It would appear that Celtic and Greg Taylor's agents are at a wee bit of a standoff. Does appear from the rumblings that Brendan Rodgers was transmitting at yesterday's press conference that there does seem to be maybe a wee bit of negotiation over the length and amount of his new contract. Rodgers talking about the fact that Taylor is very keen to get his last big contract. And it does look at the moment that there's no movement one way or another. It would be disappointing for Taylor to leave the club at this stage, but personally, I don't see him anything more than being a good backup at Celtic, similar to Anthony Ralston on the other side, as I do think Celtic do need to upgrade one way or another at left back. And if we had Greg Taylor as an experienced person to step in from time to time, an experienced person on the bench to come off in terms of injury or fatigue, etc., that'd be great. But I don't see Greg Taylor as being worthwhile of a long contract at a level which would put him up amongst the top 4 or 5 earners at Celtic, which is what some of the stories are suggesting he and his agent want. Quite a few stories also linking Stephen Welsh with a loan or transfer away from the club in the new year, with Mechelen in Belgium appearing to be the number one favourite to get his signature, either temporarily or as a long-term deal. I think given his lack of playing time at Celtic so far this season, it would make sense for Welsh to go off to Mechelen. I wouldn't be too fussed if he did go off permanently, but maybe a loan is the best option, as Welsh does have the bonus of being Scottish trained and Celtic trained when we're looking at UEFA quotas for next year's Champions League and European football. Nothing on any moves for Mike Nawrocki away from the club, nor Luis Palma when I last checked. But I dare say over the next 6 weeks or so, things will hot up. One other major thing to relay from yesterday's press conference with Brendan Rodgers is that James Forrest is out for the rest of December and the whole of January with the injury he picked up in the League Cup final last weekend. And so I suspect this will give Luis Palma and Yang both a chance to get plenty of game time coming off the bench. Celtic do tend to take off both Maeda and Kuhn at some point in the second half, and so I can certainly see one or both of Palma and Yang getting a good chance to have a few half hours and 20 minutes or so over the next few fixtures. That just about finishes things off for today's video. So my prediction, as I said, 3-0 win for Celtic. We'll do some form of post-match review if all goes to plan on Monday morning. And so until then, just a wee polite encouragement to click that like and subscribe button, and do feel free to pop your own thoughts regarding scores, predicted lineups, and other similar matters into the comment section. And so until Monday's post-match reaction video, goodbye and hail, hail.